Hello, Bible 12 friends. I'm going to explain this little diagram here that you've been racking your brains over. Now, when you see the word in the middle, consummate love, consummate is just a fancy way of saying that it is like a full-fledged, fully completed version of love. And so on this diagram, the type of love that we are talking about here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this word love because we know that there's like 800 different ways of referring to love. And instead of the word love, I'm going to write a different word there. I'm going to call it consummate Eros. We are talking about an Eros that is fully fledged, fully formed, that has everything that it needs. And so each of the corners of this talks about a different important ingredient to what Eros should look like. And so let's talk about down here, this infatuation. It calls this infatuation, but the three corners are actually smaller words right here. Passion, commitment, and intimacy. Those are the three important ingredients. Now, passion. Passion is, it's like the focused, almost idolatrous sense of Venus, where you are just like crazy about that person. It's passion is all the feels. Passion is the drive, the desire for that person. That's what the passion is all about. And when you only have passion, you have an infatuation, meaning like you're just obsessed with that person and you want more of them. Up here at the top, we have intimacy. And intimacy, I feel like that word can have all sorts of different connotations. But the word intimacy, in the sense of the guy who like pioneered this idea, is that it's knowing the other person, like actual knowledge of the other person. One might even say that there is like the friendships of the good are this type of intimacy where you know that person's background, you know their story, you know the things they like and don't like, and they know you and they know your background, they know your story and the things that you like and don't like. That is what's in this intimacy space. And so intimacy is like you are like the closest of friends, right? Down here in the bottom right corner is commitment. And commitment means that you are exclusively dedicated to that person, that you are going to not only like be like fully committed, like I can't define commitment by saying committed, that you're going to be fully dedicated to that person, that you are going to be exclusively related to that person, that they are, you are only for them and they are only for you. And that no matter what, you're not going to abandon this thing. And so you'll notice that each of these has a title. Infatuation here, you're just obsessed with the person because all you have is passion. Liking here, because it's just like you like each other, like a really close, good friendship where you know each other very well. This one over here is called empty love because you are definitely not going to cheat on the person. You're definitely going to stay with them. However, you are, well, there's no passion and there's no intimacy. So when you only have one of these corners, you get some sort of like something that falls short of Eros. With passion, with only passion, you have whoa, wow, this is really slow. With only passion, another way of describing this, as I would call it, you have an obsession. But it's like an obsession that's largely, I was going to say romantic, but that's not necessarily even true. But you have like a physical, sexual obsession with this person. When you only have the intimacy or liking, what this looks like is you're good friends. And when you only have the wow, this is really slow. When you only have commitment, they say empty love, but I feel like this is a really good example of maybe some of you have heard this, but it's called stay together for the kids. Um, there's a interesting like spike in divorce rates once the kids have left the house, and it's because people are really good at the commitment piece, but they like are no longer friends and they no longer are attracted to each other, and so then you just got um, staying together for the kids. It's just commitment. That's all you've got left is saying, "Hey, I'm going to stick with this thing because I said I would." Um, so this is an example. These are examples of each of the three corners, like a sexual obsession with the person, or like an attraction obsession, just good friends, or just the commitment, the cold, dry, stale commitment of staying together because you should and you have to. Now, a little bit closer to a consummate or a fully fledged Eros, but still falling kind of short, we have all of these things that are in on the sides. So when you have passion and intimacy, you have a new interesting thing because you like really feel strongly about the person and you know each other. You actually like really like the person. However, you're also not committed to each other. You're like, hey, this is really fun what we're doing here. I'm really enjoying what we're doing here. And this is like, you know me, I know you, we're close, and we're into each other. But like, hey, if something better comes along, we might go do that instead, right? Now, they call this romantic love because it is all about, like, it's more than just like a physical drive or attraction, because it has that additional help from friends. But one thing that we know about a lot of romantic love is that romantic love has an expiration date once the feels fade, right? And knowing that means that, like, this person could end up wanting to be with someone else instead of you because there isn't any commitment there. And so with romantic love, I think a good example of this, maybe you've heard of it, why did I start it with, I think I was saying the word good, is friends with bens. In other words, friendship with benefits, meaning like you're really good friends and you also like to hook up. And this is what you get when you get romantic love. And I'm sure that there's like all sorts of like fun, happy things that come out of it. However, the like stability and trust that comes from having commitment added there is missing. Now, on the flip side, I think that we find that a number of like young relationships inhabit this space at the bottom of the triangle where you have the infatuation and the passion, and you're like, I'm only for you, girl, or bruh, or I guess you don't call your lover bruh, um, but I'm only for you, and I'm infatuated with you, but you lack the intimacy piece. We don't really know each other yet. Like, there's lots of feelings, and there's lots of I'm only for you, I'm going to be committed to you, but it's not supported by depth of relationship and connection that comes through intimacy. And so when you get passion and commitment, um, and you do not have that intimacy piece, you have fatuous love, meaning it's like infatuation where you're stuck, right? It's like we don't really know each other that well, but like it's like it's the couple who like can't stop kissing each other and holding hands and being all over each other. But when you ask each other, like ask them, hey, what are their dreams and their hopes and what are they passionate about? They might have trouble answering that question. So this is, I'm actually going to call this, I don't know if any of you use this term anymore, so maybe this is helpful, but I'm going to call this puppy love. I'm not sure if you've heard this term, but puppy love, it's like when people are like they're young and in love and like they are going, I guess in the like the classic sense, they are in love, and so they are all about each other, like both with the passion and with, hey, this is definitely only us and no one else. Um, so we got puppy love there, and then the last version of the last one of these angles, or not angles, sorry, the last one of these sides is companionate love. And in companionate love, you see this word, companion, where you guys know each other because there's a great deal of intimacy, and you're like, hey, it's just us, and I'm committed to it just being us. Um, and with this, there isn't like necessarily the passion there anymore. It's maybe it's anymore. Maybe the passion died, or maybe it was never there to get started with. And so if liking is good friends and and commitment or empty love is when you're just like dedicated to each other, this is almost like when people say that they're BFFs. Um, you're best friends forever, and we're like committed to only being each other's best friend. We are gonna be stuck together. It's just us. Now, um, the thing about Eros love, and Eros is probably the consummate Eros is I think what God intended for people to have with each other when they enter into a marriage relationship, is when it's fully fledged, it's going to have all three of these ingredients. There is going to be like passion and desire for one another. There is going to be I know you and you know me. You know my stories and my shortcomings um, and my strengths, and like I know the same about you. And then there's also commitment, saying, hey, this thing that we have together is going to be exclusively us. Like we are committed to doing this together and not letting it end. And when you have all three of those ingredients, you have a consummate Eros. And so if we're looking for an example of this, I would just call this, I think you know when you see it, healthy marriage. Maybe you've seen one of those couples that they've been married for a while and they still really enjoy each other. They laugh together, they're faithful to each other, and they like still find each other attractive. And I'm not just like talking physically, but they're attracted and drawn to that other person. And so this is that little triangle thing. On the assignment, you should have seen that you are going to follow along with me. So you should have written this chart out with me. And given the examples, if you have a better example than like good friends or BFFs or stay together for the kids or whatever for each of these types, then go ahead and write your version that you think is better. But finish up this assignment, take a picture of this handwritten note that you took and upload it to the assignment classwork 9/11. I think it's called, what is this assignment called? It's called Consummate Love Notes. So once you've done that, go ahead and submit that, and then study for your verse quiz until it's time to return. Okay, bye.